People say that all good things must come to an end. My last show, Salvage Hunters, which we shot last year and will air in the fall, is my last. From the moment I got the job to do recovery, I was determined to be as honest as possible about the antiques business. Drew Pritchard, the famous antiques dealer and star of the TV show Salvage Hunters, has a knack for finding secret gems that keeps people watching. But behind the scenes, Drew was having problems with his own life that made him make some changes. Drew's story isn't just about rare antiques and salvage work, it's also about his messy divorce and leaving the show. It's full of emotional setbacks and personal battles. Come with us as we find out what really happened to Drew Pritchard. There's not much that has changed. It will be a little better in my car. After that, I have a nicer car to use. Then I have a slightly better building, but other than that, not much has changed. The same thing is being done. We still go out and look for things, bring them back, get them ready for sale, and do any other work that needs to be done. But most of the time it's done online now. The fact that Drew Pritchard has become an expert in antiques shows how persistent and hands-on he is. When he opened his antique shop in Conway in 2017, his hard work paid off. It quickly became a landmark in the area. The shop was packed with people from all over the world, many of them Salvage Hunters fans. It was a must-see for antique lovers, collectors, and tourists. A lot of different kinds of people went to the store, from famous people and restaurant tour groups like Jaime Oliver and Marco Pierre White. Things looked like they were going well with the business until something strange happened. Drew shocked his friends and people in the area in May 2022 when he said that his store would be closing. He didn't go into specifics about why, he just said he was going on to new things. A lot of people were shocked by the news, especially those who had come from far away to visit the store. Both Conway and the die-hard Salvage Hunters fans felt like an era was coming to an end. Soon after the store closed, it was taken over by a group of restaurants, which made Drew's fans feel even worse about their loss. Drew sent a message to his fans that said, "Our showroom in Conway is now closed while we move to new pastures. Please don't make the trip to see us. We still trade online like we always have, and every week new stock is added." Even though this was a sad change, Drew's online business kept growing. But it still felt like a loss when the store closed. The shop was an important part of the town's life. And for many, it wasn't just the old things. Inside its walls, people had stories, events, and memories that they would never forget. But Drew had more bad things happen to him than that. Many years after closing the store, he was hit with a lot of personal problems that had an effect on both his work and home life. It's pretty common for celebrity couples to be under a lot of stress, but the Pritchards seemed to be an exception until they recently broke up. So the Pritchards' love story began in the early 2000s, when Rebecca worked in real estate development. Drew was drawn to her right away because she had so much experience. They became friends because they both liked history and old things. This made their relationship grow both emotionally and professionally. They became friends over a shared goal of restoring and preserving old treasures, which later turned into a romance. These two people dated for a while before getting married. They have a son named Tom and a daughter named Grace. Drew and Rebecca's life was built around their love of old things. Finding, fixing up, and selling old things became more than just a job for them. It became a way of life. They got along great when they were working together in their shop or on home restoration jobs. Finally, in 2011, Drew chose to show the family's business on Salvage Hunters, a TV show that would make them famous all over the country. Rebecca joined Drew as a co-host after a few good seasons, and the two of them became well known in the antiques world. But even though both of them were successful at work, their marriage started to have problems. They didn't have much time to spend together because their personal lives and the antiques business were both very busy. Making time for both work and family started to wear her down over time. There were many years of marriage between them before they decided to split up in 2017. Not all of the details of their breakup were made public, but it was clear that their busy schedules and the stress of being in the public eye contributed to the end of their relationship. For both Drew and Rebecca, the end of their marriage was a hard time. In the beginning, they kept working together as co-workers, but things didn't work out, and Rebecca had to quit. When the Pritchards got divorced in 2017, their settlement got a lot of attention, especially because it included how much their shared assets were worth. Even though they agreed to split up, the court gave Rebecca a part of the family's assets, which were said to be worth $8 million. To make sure that everyone got a fair deal, these assets had to be split up. Their home, an 18th century chapel that Drew bought in 1995, was one of the most important things in the town. The house in Conway, North Wales was later put on the market for £795,000, which was a fair price for its historic appeal. Drew and Rebecca had worked on fixing up the church for years, making sure to keep its historical features. One of the most interesting things about the house is the fancy toilet that Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones used to own. Along with this, the land had a vacation cottage, 3 stables and a big pond, all of which made it more appealing and valuable. But it's important to note that the Pritchard split settlement wasn't just giving each other property. Rebecca and Drew both thought it was very important to keep their family stable. They shared parental responsibility for their 2 kids, and worked together to make sure the kids had the support and order they needed even as their personal lives changed. Drew turned his attention to smaller restoration jobs after the divorce. His job was still mostly about restoring old furniture and other one-of-a-kind things, but he also took advantage of new chances. His new home is in Bath, Somerset. He bought a townhouse there and started fixing it up. As for Drew's new project, he paid $1,100 for a famous Georgian townhouse in Bath, $5 million, and he set out to make it look like it did before. But things didn't go as planned, and the dream began to fall apart 10 months into the project. At first, Drew had set aside £200,000 for the project's renovation fund. But the terrible thing happened. Costs went up quickly because of inflation, and just the plumbing and electricity work alone cost over £150,000 to keep going. Drew had to make a tough choice. He sold his building full of old things and personal items that he had been gathering for over 30 years. He auctioned off 600 items, some of which were rare finds, like a fossilized Irish elk head. He paid £3,500 for a Ship Willie model that later sold for £5,500. He was glad that some things sold, but a lot of them didn't reach their reserve price. The sale didn't bring in enough money for the project in the end. Things got so bad that Drew told his building that work would stop if he didn't get paid by the following week. Drew had to stop the repair when there was no way out. He only finished the first 2 floors so that he could move in. This included his bedroom, bathroom, and guest rooms. The rest of the house is still being worked on. With all of these things going on, Drew Pritchard just recently said that he was leaving Salvage Hunters. Drew told everyone about it after being the face of the show for more than 10 years. This marked the end of a part that had a big impact on his career. He thanked the people who were there for him along the way, and said that it was their work that kept the show going for so long. The longtime show's director, Dan Trelford, his ex-wife Rebecca, who was a big part of the show's early success, and John T., the show's familiar partner who became a fan favorite over the years, were some of the people he thanked. Drew sent a short but emotional message to thank everyone who worked on the show, both behind and in front of the camera. Drew said that his love for old things and fixing them up hasn't gone away, even though he's no longer on Salvage Hunters. In his final words, he says that he will keep doing what he loves, and that he is now focused on finishing up the repairs to his Georgian townhouse.